And the bad news is, I'm going to talk today about Decca Heggie and Danny Christie if they was to have a second fight, about Decca Heggie versus Danny Christie too. And the reason I'm doing this video is due to the fact that I have had a lot of comments. They're still coming through even up till yesterday. I'll go on my YouTube studio and it's comment about the video that I made about Decca Heggie, Danny Christie giving it to each other. Of people going, Decca would smash Danny. You don't know what you're talking about. How can you badmouth Decca? Decca's this, Decca's that, Decca's... It's just like, I'm reading them and I'm just like, I need to address this. Then on top of that, you've got Decca has openly come out and he's gone at Dr. Rackpool in videos and in the comments. I'm not defending Dr. Rackpool specifically. I do think Dr. Rackpool's very funny. But he's not like a mate of mine that I talk to or anything. I don't know him, never spoke to him before. He's got bad stuff to say about me. I've got nothing really to say about him except for he's quite funny. And LB Prime Fighter is the other one, who I think is a fair enough, nice geezer. He comes across really cool, but I don't know him at all in the slightest. I've never ever had a word spoke to him. He's left me a couple of comments. Seems very nice and polite. Anyway, so those are the two people that Decca's going at in the situation where I'm not barred off YouTube. No one's big enough to bar me off YouTube. Danny Christie saying, dare you to call me a liar, I'll come round George, you're barred off YouTube. Decca replies, LB Prime Fighter, Dr. Rackpool, fuck you, Dr. Rackpool. What about Danny? Fuck you, Dr. Rackpool. So, well, I'm not going to talk about any of the allegations, any of the offences, none of it. I'm not going to mention it once. I'm going to talk about strictly only the fighting. Right, so let's go back to Decca Heggie versus Danny Christie 1, which happened in the year of our Lord, 2021. Yeah, we are in the last 2 months of 2025. So this was nearly 6 years ago, just over nearly 5 years ago, just over 4 years ago now. Okay, so it's a long time in fight terms. And in the time since then, that was a very, very even fight. Yes, Danny took a knee twice, very plain for everyone to see. Really, really good fight, actually. Decca had a massive size advantage, massive weight, well, maybe not height, but massive weight advantage, massive. You're talking like 40 kilos, 30 kilos. Danny was in active addiction, drinking a lot, on Valium a lot. I think he said he was on Valium the day of the fight because he was started rattling from them. He had been on one run, sparred a few rounds, and that was that. Decca was the bare knuckle British champion. Now, there's no denying that Decca Heggie's a tough man who can have a little scrap. But in every town, across every city, of every village, of every road in the country, there's a tough man who can have a bit of a scrap. Yes? Yes. Okay. So technically, Decca has nothing. Nothing technical, nothing good. He throws nice straight punches, fine. For his size, quite fast, yes. Why is he so big? Because he's juiced up. It's as simple as that. He is a big fucking juiced up lump. And as you see now from his latest sort of videos, he's still big across the shoulders. He's obviously a wide, big geezer. But his arms are shrinking. I bet if he took his top off, he looks like fucking jelly. Because that's what happens when you come off the juice and you're not training and stuff anymore. And he's now what? When was he born? Early 80s? So he's over 40. And the first fight that happened between Danny and Decca, it was very, very even. Decca was split in half in like the most offensive cut. The only one that I've seen that's maybe equally bad as that was Gary Fox against John O'Chipchase in the first round of their fight. It was the most disgusting, disfiguring cut you've ever seen. Boom. And that happened within about 30 seconds. And yeah, Decca was tossing Danny about when they engaged in close in the clinch situations. Decca was throwing him, but he's 40 kilos heavier than him. They fought in a fucking 12-foot ring. Why did they put them in a 12-foot ring, do you think? Why didn't they let them fight in a garden or in a car park or out the ring or in a bigger ring? I wonder. Do you think it might have been because Decca didn't want to be chasing Danny around? Because Decca didn't want to have to box with Danny and he thought he would just be able to pin him into a corner? Do you think maybe? I don't know. So Danny, totally unfit and untrained. Well, he was trained, obviously, but not been training. Decca, at the height of his career, more or less, in his prime, and Danny split him in any professional circumstance, in any unlicensed circumstance, if there was any sort of medical professionals there, that fight would have been stopped. And the second that cut started bleeding into Decca's eyes, yeah, there's no denying that. I'm a professional licensed cut man. I know cuts, okay. Danny took a knee a couple of times. He was very tired. Decca was obviously doing what he does, walking shots down, taking him in the face, which isn't a good way of defending yourself when you're boxing or fighting. I might tell you, we tell our lads very much so, don't do that. Move your head, defend with your feet. You know, it's not good to take shots flat in your face. It means you're losing a fight if you're taking shots flat in your face, okay? And they called it a draw. Danny took a knee twice out of exhaustion and stuff. Maybe he was getting hurt, I don't know. Didn't seem to be getting badly hurt, just seemed to be very tired. And they called it a draw, yeah? So that was the first fight. So if you were scoring that fight by any metric, who landed the most punches? Who landed the most significant punches? Who split the other person from head to fucking nose? So who won that fight? Why did the fight get called a draw? Was it because Decca couldn't see because he was split in half? Or was it because Danny was tired? Do you think Danny would have carried on? Or do you think... Because they asked him to call it a draw twice before, didn't they? Right. So then we go on to... He's fought other people. And obviously, mate, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's not a tough geezer because he is. Julius Francis was paid to do a job. Threw about 4 punches back the whole fight. Just sat back on the ropes and let Decca tee off on him. Robbie Brown. Then he went on to Robbie Brown more recently, which is like 2.5 years ago now. And Robbie battered him. And I know there's the whole tap gate, but the thing is, like, you're in a neutral situation just lying on the floor. Robbie Brown's just lying there. Decca's got no choke or headlock in or nothing around him. And Robbie just taps on his shoulder, just like, he didn't tap out. There was no pressure on him. There was no reason to tap out. You're like, Robbie said it himself, if you're getting put in a choke situation, you try and escape. You don't just lie there flat and just go, let go. It's just, you try and make an effort to get out. So, of late, Decca's, of the more recent fights that we've seen, Dean Lynch-Ward, yeah, fair enough, he punched Dean Lynch-Ward up, but where do you think Dean Lynch-Ward's fighting ability is in terms of high-level opponents and Decca and Dean? Do you know, not really in the same league, and Dean Lynch-Ward's inside for GBH, probably a dangerous geezer, maybe he does stuff on the street sort of thing, or whatever might be about that life, but let's have it right. I put Decca in there with Brett May, personally. I think that'd be a fairly good matchup. I think Decca would win, but that's the sort of level of ability that I put Decca at. Genuinely, I really, really do. And if Decca was what people say he is, oh, he's the hardest man in the Northeast. Oh, he's the hardest man in the North. Oh, Carlisle, he run Danny, he'll smash Danny, this and that. Because he wouldn't. He just wouldn't. For my mind, in my opinion, he just wouldn't. And this isn't because Danny's a mate of mine. This is just the truth. Like, I'm seeing all these... But if this was the case, then why is he hiding in his room and not going, you're a fucking liar, let's go? Like, why? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, the first fight when Danny was at rock bottom and people say, oh, Decca was unfair. He was an active fighter. He'd had fucking 15 fights active all the time, like, or regularly, like, and now he's been out of the ring for fucking the best part of like 3 years, and he's been flat out on the drugs, not been dieting, not been training because no one will have him in a gym. And this is me not pointing out anything about anything that anyone's accused him of. This is just the facts. He doesn't go to any gym, and he looks like he's on death's door. And he's heavily, heavily, heavily intoxicated all of the time, most of the time, by the looks of things. You don't look like that for no reason. And what planet are you living on if you think, oh, a fit Decca will do it, mate? He's in his 40s. He hasn't trained for 3 years. He's had bicep tears, fucking cancer scares, as the doc says, like this, that, the other, yada, 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 all these illnesses. What metric, and alcohol addiction, narcotics addiction. What metric of planet do you think someone in their early 40s is going to go to a fight gym, sign up, get fight ready to go against someone who's a fucking been a bare knuckle BKFC champion, UK champion twice, challenged for the World Championship twice in 3 different weight divisions. Fought the best in the country, Conor Tierney, the best in the world, Dave Mundell, Jared Warren. What makes you think that Decca Heggie can just jump in with this fella? And after 3 years out the gym, flat out on the drugs, whatever drugs he's on. I'm not going to say brown because people get annoyed about it. It might not be. And this isn't me kicking him while he's down. This is just the truth. This is just a fact. I'm not saying anything horrible about him. I'm just saying the truth. If you seriously think that Decca now could ever be back to where he was 10 years ago, you're delusional. He's delusional if he thinks he could. He doesn't even believe it himself. He doesn't believe it, doesn't think it. Otherwise, he wouldn't be on here calling out LB Primefighter and Dr. Rackball, would he? He'd be out here calling out Danny. He'd be in his mirror going, Danny Christie, Danny Christie, Danny Christie, spinning around 3 times and waiting for him to arrive there on his doorstep. It's just not going to happen, is it? It's just impossible. It's not going to happen. And it's been now 3 weeks since, 2 weeks or something, since the ban was stamped in place again, and he's nowhere to be seen except for in the comments giving it to Dr. Rackball. And why do we think this is? And I'm sure I'm going to get all the normal faces, which could potentially just be him or family members or a few friends on different accounts because they all sound the same, saying you're a fucking idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, Decca's this, Decca's that. But the truth of the fact of the matter is it's just not happening, is it? It's not true. Anyways, boys, let me know what you think down below. Am I being too harsh? Is there any? Could he come back? Could he be BKFC champion now? Could he beat Danny now? Let me know what you think down below. If you got this far, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Adios. La bosh.